Welcome to the B-side on the Hubbubbery, where we celebrate the legends of B-movie greatness.
That's right. Today we are hailing to the B-movie king with a famed chin, Bruce Campbell.
That's right. He's an icon who's battled Deadites, mummies, skeletons, and aliens. But he's somehow remained one of the most down-to-earth, endearing goofballs in this business.
You know, the thing I love about Bruce is that he never really takes himself seriously. He knows exactly who he is, what he loves, and is unapologetically leaning into all of it.
So in this B-side feature, we're not just spotlighting the cult classics and the forgotten gems. No, we're celebrating a career built on chin-first charm and sheer low-budget brilliance.
All right, let's kick this off where the legend starts, out in a cabin that probably should have come with a legal waiver.
Ashley Ash Williams is a regular guy who books a stay with his friends at the worst Airbnb cabin rental of all time. He plays the creepiest audiobook in history, and a few demons later grows a spine, a 1,000-yard stare, and an insane pain tolerance. It's the birth of Bruce, reluctant hero who gets pummeled experience.
All right, so Evil Dead, that was filmed in a creepy cabin in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I think the crew called it Hell Week for 3 months. So It seemed like it was a pretty brutal time. Early, 1981 this was released, but I think it was shot in late 70s.
I was going to say, into the 70s. And I don't think this is the first Cabin in the Woods movie. I could be wrong. I'm not 100% certain. And I would love if somebody knew, there's that other Cabin in the Woods movie. But this is the sort of the preeminent Cabin in the Woods movie because of this movie, especially this movie. The cabin in the woods trope is a thing. You know, part of it is that, it gave them a contained space and environment, set up camp and film.
Yeah.
And obviously, 3 months there could be a hellish experience.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, it led Stephen King to announce his support for it. He called it, I think, the ferociously original horror movie of the year, which, I think there were a number of countries that banned it.
Oh, yeah.
Allowing it to be shown.
Threatened with an X rating. Right. And, at the time, there's a lot that happens in this movie. You got supernatural, you've got
gore,
a lot of gore, a tree that's very familiar.
Right, which is why it probably almost got the X rating.
A tree that is doing very untree-like things.
Yeah, that is a naughty tree.
It was, kind of going to be relinquished to the top shelves at the video stores if it were to come out on video. But yeah, Stephen King.
Yeah, he's kind of saved it.
He sort of gave it a stamp of approval, and really that was a moment that. It got everybody's attention. I
think it was only a $350,000 budget for this. Feels kind of shoestring,
It's very DIY.
Put together, DIY, very scrappy. But some of the practical effects are well done for the budget that they had. Smoke machines, I think half the budget went to smoke machines.
Oh, easily.
Which money well spent as far as I'm concerned.
The acting is at a point here, as Bruce Campbell especially, is like, this is his first time playing this character.
Right.
And you can tell.
Yeah. He's more subdued than the Ash Williams that we have come to know and love in this movie. Yeah. He's almost even scared, and not in a cartoonish way like he is in some
No. Yeah, he almost it wasn't even really going to be the lead.
Funny little tiny thing too is if you stayed around to the end credits. You notice a lot of people, which are a lot of family and friends, labeled as fake shemps. So where this comes from, and it's actually the Shemp term is something that Sam Raimi uses in a number of his movies ever since, which Sam does. He uses a lot of things repeated in a lot of his movies. But it comes from the Three Stooges, where Shemp Howard, after his death, the Stooges still had movies to make, and they had to finish them. So they had fake Shemp's stand in. A lot of times you could tell it was not Shemp powered. But Sam and Bruce took this title and put fake Shemp there just for fun because they really love the Stooges. And so it's just kind of a fun little trivia. Same cabin, bigger attitude. Ash literally fights his own hand and chainsaws a solution. Bruce goes full splat stick rubber face reactions, blood geysers, furniture that laughs. By the time we get to this legendary groovy, he's become a full-fledged horror icon who can make a joke and take a punch at the same time.
So you know what you do to follow up Evil Dead.
Evil Dead?
Because, now Sam Raimi's on the map.
Okay.
Bruce Campbell's on the map. Given the opportunity to
do a follow-up.
Do a follow-up.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, what'd they call it?
Evil Dead 2.
Wow, that's a great name.
So this, for me, was the first movie I actually saw of the Evil Dead franchise. And I stumbled upon it. It was like, so I was in college. And I was cramming on something that I needed to get done by the next day.
Okay.
And so it was probably like 1 a.m. And so I just had the TV on because I was like, I got to stay awake.
Yeah.
And this movie came on. And I remember
stopped doing your homework.
I absolutely stopped doing what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And I watched this movie because I was like, what is this? And I remember watching it and almost being like, maybe it's because I'm a little sleepy. Like, I'm seeing things that aren't, maybe, I thought, well, I didn't really see what this really was because, I thought I fabricated a lot of what happens in this movie. This movie does stuff.
Absurd stuff.
Very absurd. But it was like a watershed moment. I was like, it was like gory and funny.
Yeah.
And incredibly weird. Right. And for me to say weird is a reach.
When I finally watched them in sequence, there's sort of an unusual aspect to Evil Dead 2 because they start in the Oldsmobile. The this Oldsmobile is there's something about this Oldsmobile. It's very, very special. Yeah, so
obviously special to Sam Raimi.
Right. It was So little quick tangent. The Oldsmobile was Sam Raimi's father's car. 73 Delta 88. That's right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And it appears throughout this franchise. We see it in every single movie and the TV show.
Yeah.
And you know where we also see it? Every single Sam Raimi movie ever made. I think Bruce Campbell has said that car has gotten more roles than most actors. So Evil Dead 2 starts in the same Oldsmobile, and we go through sort of a recap of the first movie, but it's not really a recap because the events aren't the same.
It's like, is it a remake?
Yeah.
Is it a sequel? And it's kind of a little bit of both.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell has said there is some confusion around it, and he said probably the best way to describe it is that it's a requel. So the reason for it was when they did Evil Dead 2, they didn't have the rights for their own story.
No.
From Evil Dead 1 because of the studio change.
Aside from the fact that now Bruce Campbell is going to play this character much broader. Yeah. And they're going to do a lot more with the character, but they're also doing a lot more with sort of the universe. Yeah. The Necronomicon was in the first movie. Right. But it's
a little bit more than a mention.
It's very slight. Yeah. It's very slight. It's not like sort of the thing. Right. Whereas this one, it has a very sort of like the mythology is like they're going to go into the mythology more. Now the supporting characters in this, like in the first movie, there are like a bunch of friends going to a cabin in the woods. This time it's just Ash and his girlfriend. Yeah. And go into the cabin. Right. And you can tell right off the bat that Bruce Campbell, is being a little bit goofier.
Yeah. He's leaning into the cartoon Stooges aspect of it.
Yeah, right his acting is broader, making kind of making a little bit more
rubbery.
Rubbery. Yeah, I mean, there's like almost a Jim Carrey-esque kind of quality to it. His voice is different.
Right.
You know, he's definitely like, okay, well, you know, I lived the first movie, so probably going to live through this one.
Yeah.
So he's going to play a little bit broader, you know, and have more fun with the character. And then it becomes more of a character.
Yeah, who we know as Ash Williams.
As
a little bit,
you know,
less,
Ash Williams,
than the first movie.
Ash gets sucked through a portal into medieval times, where he forgets a crucial magic word. Triggers a stop-motion skeleton uprising and goes full Three Stooges. This is where Bruce's Ash fully evolves into a quippy, reluctant hero who's somehow both clueless,
Groovy.
This is my boomstick!
and overconfident.
Give me some sugar, baby.
And it's glorious.
Army of Darkness.
Yes, Army of Darkness. So, you know, now we're talking about 1992.
Yeah. You have a bit of a studio shift, right?
Yeah, a little bit of a studio shift. So we got Universal involved.
Yeah. Evil Dead 2 had a pretty good following.
Oh yeah,
and they
the cult buildup.
Right.
You know, they see this like, okay, people like this character, and this, you know, Sam Raimi guy seems to know what he's doing.
Right. Yeah.
You
so
know?
we'll give you $11 million. You make the third installment.
They look at like this guy did a $350,000 movie.
Yeah.
Made a bundle ultimately. He took a $3.5 million movie. Didn't make. I mean, you know, and its theatrical run.
Right.
Wasn't
great.
No. But became a massive cult hit.
Right.
So they're
There's
like,
an
okay.
audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're like, all right, you know, 11 million.
Yeah.
Which I'm imagining to, you know, Sam Raimi and his production team, you know, Ted Trabert and his brother and Bruce Campbell. I mean, these are all just like guys who went to high school together.
Right.
So they're like, this is great.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, what do they decide to do?
Yeah. Well, the studio had a few notes.
They had notes, and studios do. They're like, you want $11 million.
Right.
Here's what you got to do.
Yeah. So they wanted to open it up a little bit more to a broader audience. So they obviously wanted a better theatrical run than Evil Dead 2 had. So what do we do to do that?
Yeah.
So at that point, you create a fantasy, horror, adventure, comedy, hybrid kind of movie.
Absolutely. What they really do is sort of like, first Evil Dead, genuinely creepy, scary.
Totally.
Second one, scary, but then it's like, well, except for, you know, it's getting kind of, I mean, it's also wacky.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and absurd.
Yeah, a little more Three Stooges introduction in Evil Dead 2.
Whereas this one, it's like played for laughs.
Yeah.
Also, an obscene amount of blood, but in such a way that it's completely a joke.
Yeah. Well, early on, you have we don't have a cellar in this movie, so what are they going to do? They got to get the pit.
We got a pit.
And you remember we saw the blood spewing out of the cellar. Well, what are we going to do here? We got to have the blood spewing out of the pit. Endlessly quotable lines in this movie. Good, bad, I'm the guy with the gun.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how can you go wrong?
And this is Bruce Campbell. Firmly established. Yeah. Like, this character is his own. Yeah. He is this character, and he's going to do it, you know, he's going to kind of do it his way. He is still going to get the hell beat out of him by Sam Raimi. And he does in this movie. He's not an anti-hero, but what do you call it? He's not necessarily a hero.
Yeah, no, not so much.
He's kind of a schmo who does heroic things.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
30 years after Army of Darkness, Ash is older, out of shape, and stuck in retail hell. But when Deadites return, the chainsaw comes out of retirement. Equal parts gore, gags, and unexpected heart, this series proves Bruce still had plenty of gas in the boomstick.
At this point, you know, people love the character. That's the character that, for most people, is what comes to mind.
Right.
He's John McClane for Bruce Willis. He's a Terminator for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Rocky for Stallone. Yeah. This is Ash Williams is Bruce Campbell's iconic character.
2015, he and Sam Raimi got back together and decided it was time for Bruce to come back.
Yeah, they're going to dust off the Delta 88.
Right.
Polish up his boomstick.
Yeah.
Sounds totally...
Yeah.
awful, but
it does.
let's
but it
leave
works.
that in there.
It always works. So Ash versus Evil Dead, we see Bruce working not at S-Mart because I don't think they, again, didn't have the rights to Army of Darkness.
Of course not.
So he's at a different department store.
Why not?
And but he's still kind of in that life, and he has since not faced Deadites in a 30-year span.
No Deadites. Living in a trailer.
Right.
Got himself a double wide. So, things are about the same.
Right. And one night he has a little bit too much fun. He's sort of, still the ladies' man we know him to be.
Still the ladies' man. Now, of course, he doesn't, he doesn't have his hand.
He still doesn't have his hand. Yeah. Yeah, they established that early on.
But he's got
he's got a little wooden hand that clips on. That works.
Hand.
It's not the chainsaw.
Not a chainsaw. You can't walk around with that all over the place.
No.
I mean,
it'd be scary.
You knock into things,
Right. Probably kill people randomly. Yeah, that would be brutal. And Bruce is called, his portrayal in Ash vs. Evil Dead, probably one of the more honest, emotionally honest portrayals of the character. Yeah. And he does a great job with it. Over the course of its 3 seasons, you travel through a lot of fun Deadite fun, but also some personal backstory. We meet Bruce's father. Yeah,
Lee Majors, the $6 million man.
Yeah. He's not $6 million man in this.
Nah, he's more like a $60 man. Yeah. They go back to the roots of I think the spiritual roots of Evil Dead 2. Yeah. They still play a lot for laughs, but being that this is for streaming, for
stars.
Cable. It is, they lean all the way back into the R rating.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very gory. So, like, if you were like, hey, we showed the kids Army of Darkness, they loved it. You know what? We should watch this.
Yeah.
Don't.
No, probably
because
not.
that would not be the case. Yeah.
Still funny, but it is adult funny.
But it is definitely not for kids.
Yeah. No.
It is gory. Yes. And it's gory in the buckets of blood.
Bruce has said it was sort of a letdown when the show was canceled, but also at the same time, it was a little bittersweet because he, I think, was tired of getting all those buckets of blood poured onto him. He's done a lot of that.
Bruce Campbell plays Bruce Campbell. Well, a drunk, over-the-top, washed-up version of himself who's kidnapped by a teenage fan and forced to fight a real-life Chinese demon. It's kind of like Evil Dead meets being John Malkovich, a loving self-roast with Sam Raimi's brother Ted stealing scenes in multiple roles.
2007, Bruce decides that he's going to play Bruce. Yeah, in My Name is Bruce. So this movie, directed by Bruce, starring Bruce, about the myth of Bruce, filmed mostly on Bruce's own property in Oregon. Yeah. It was, it really feels like a low-budget, classic B movie kind of thing with him, back to his roots. Mm-hmm. And, it's just sort of a fun play on who he is, and it's not really Bruce Campbell. I mean, he plays the over the top, drunk kind of version of himself, but it follows him getting kidnapped by this group in this town, and there's this Chinese protector of the dead and of bean curd.
Yeah, I haven't seen this. I've seen it pop up a few times. Mm-hmm. and I do want to see it. It does kind of remind me of like is it like a being John Malkovich? But I suspect it's probably not quite at that level of meta.
Yeah. No, not quite.
Or production.
Yeah. It's a little Evil Dead, a little being John Malkovich. Ted Raimi is in this, playing a number of characters. Yeah. And one of them is sort of an unfortunate Chinese stereotype. Which, in 2007, it's just kind of like, well, that's surprising.
Seems like they knew better.
Maybe don't do that.
So this was, shot with a $2 million budget, and a lot of the props were basically just from the Bruce Campbell house where they shot it. Mm-hmm. So, why not?
Yeah.
This was a why not movie.
Bruce plays Brisco County Jr., a Harvard-educated bounty hunter in the Old West, chasing outlaws and mysterious orbs while riding a horse named Comet, who might actually be smarter than everyone else. It's Western, sci-fi, comedy, all balanced beautifully by Bruce's typical charm and quick wit.
Bruce Campbell is kind of like the cult go-to guy. Everybody has a cult thing that Bruce Campbell was attached to, which is why he leans into it. He's like, he knows. Yeah. He's made a career out of it. I mean, why not?
Sure.
Which is why we talk about him on the B-side, because he had a show, and it was in 1993, 1994. Now, this is, it was on Fox. Mm-hmm. Now, back then, Fox, we're talking, during the heyday of X-Files, when suddenly people were paying attention to Fox, and Simpsons. So Fox was, and then all of their other shows, all the spelling shows and all that stuff, the mid-90s. Mm-hmm. Fox people were paying attention to Fox, a lot more eyes on it. And this was a show called The Adventures of Brisco County. And this is kind of funny.
Junior.
Brisco, yes, you're right. Sorry, Brisco County Jr. And this one, it's kind of, you can still, I think it's on streaming.
Yeah, you can still get it a lot. I see sales for it.
Yeah, it pops up. It's not like you bury treasure, you don't never see it again. But it was a one-season show, and he was a Harvard-educated bounty hunter in the Old West. But it leaned heavily into things like, sci-fi and maybe some supernatural elements. It was sort of like the old TV show, not the movie, The Wild Wild West, with Robert Conrad. Yeah. Which was essentially kind of like a James Bond in the Old West. Well, this was, sort of an action comedy. The horse was, one of almost a co-lead in this. The horse's name was Comet, I think. Yeah. And it was written or created by the guys who wrote Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yeah. Carlton Cuse was one of them.
Carlton Cuse of Lost, and then Jeffrey Boehm. So, there's heavy action, and like the sci-fi aspects. It's steampunk, And at the time, I don't even think people were really speaking to steampunk as, kind of a genre, but it was steampunk. Yeah. And now, I think there are a lot of fans of the show who discovered it later, and it's one of those shows that. I think people saw it as a Western, and 1993, 94, people were not really into like watching a Western on TV. Yeah. So a lot of people missed it. Didn't realize it was going to be a Western sci-fi comedy. Action adventure.
Yeah, it's a specific audience.
Yeah, again, a specific audience. And it's kind of, you're starting to see a thread here with Bruce Campbell is that, he kind of likes to try a lot of different things, and there's things like it was an interesting show, and it was a fun character. It was, it was totally different than Ash Williams. Yeah. And
he said it's one of his top 5 characters of his career.
He is fantastic at it. There's slapstick and deadpan. It's a lot of the stuff that he's pulling out of his playbook, but in much different ways than what we saw before.
Old Elvis versus a soul-sucking mummy. Bruce trades chainsaws for a walker and proves once again that he can do pathos and punchlines, this time with a hunka heart. Bubba Ho-Tep is a cult classic with surprisingly poignant themes about identity, aging, and forgotten heroes, including the King's roommate, JFK, who's black, and who thinks LBJ died him that way. Somehow it all works. No, really, it does.
We're going from cowboy to king.
Yes. Yeah. That's pretty good. I would say the king of cult, Hail to the King, becomes the King Elvis.
Yes, literally. Yeah. Elvis.
And you know what else we should throw into that?
What?
We should throw in the fact that that he's still alive after death, living in a retirement home. Yeah. And he's going to fight a mummy. Yeah. And his roommate is none other than JFK, who's also
not dead.
Yeah, not dead, but
and
he's
also not white.
Not white. Right. Yeah. So Ossie Davis.
Yeah.
And why is he not white?
According to the character in the movie, LBJ dyed him black.
Yeah. So Bubba Ho-Tep.
Yeah, this is one I remember reading this, like reading the log line, and I just remember reading something like Bruce Campbell is going to star as a still alive Elvis Presley living in a retirement community with JFK. And they didn't even get into all that stuff.
Yeah.
With still alive JFK as they battle a cowboy hat wearing mummy. Mm-hmm. And you know what this is? This is exactly that. This is Bruce Campbell as a still alive Elvis Presley with a still alive and not white JFK,
right,
battling a cowboy hat wearing mummy.
Yeah. And now, don't get us wrong though. This is not played as a comedy. It's played serious.
No, yeah, that's
very serious.
That's the thing that I think throws people off in this movie is like, well, this is gonna be a riot.
Yeah,
and it's like, kinda.
Yeah, but really, the mummy storyline aside, the absurdity of Elvis and JFK aside, the underlying subtext in this movie is one of it's sort of a poignant story of aging.
Yeah.
And it's really one of Bruce Campbell's more heartfelt roles. He spent a lot of time really digging into Elvis and making sure he had his posture right and really playing true to who Elvis was.
Yeah.
And really leaned into this storyline of aging in this way and all that entails. And
aging and identity and, feeling irrelevant.
Directed by the...
Don Coscarelli.
Yeah, did Phantasm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, who, so he's a guy who has obviously a unique kind of take on the genres, the horror genre. And this has been associated as a horror film, but it's not really.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's more, it really does feel more like that aging storyline.
Yeah.
It has the mummy and he fights the mummy. And
there's comedic beats,
right.
But it's, I think anybody would watch it, expecting this to be slapstick, and everything about it feels like this should be a slapstick movie.
Yeah.
And then they swerve and it's not.
No.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean it's not good and it's not enjoyable. It's not fun to watch, but it is not, if you're thinking you're going to watch, Ash Williams in an Elvis wig, doing a bunch of, karate kicks.
Yeah.
This is not that movie.
You get some, but...
He's some karate kicks, but he's also old. So, he's going to hurt himself.
Yeah, you don't want to, you knock your hip out of place.
Exactly.
When a spy gets burned and dumped in Miami, he's left with no job, no resources, and no choice but to freelance. Enter Bruce Campbell as Sam Axe, a beer-loving retired Navy SEAL with a Rolodex of ex-lovers and ex-buddies who can get things done with a grin. He's the smooth-talking sidekick who always knows a guy. Last up on our docket here, Burn Notice.
Yeah.
Burn Notice, 2007, 2013 USA procedural
long-running show, and a completely different change of direction for Bruce Campbell as far as the characters that he's played.
Right.
We've seen him go broad. Mm-hmm. We've seen him go bloody.
Yeah.
We've seen him go big.
Yeah.
But this time it's like.
Just a regular kind of guy.
I wouldn't call him he's not necessarily a sidekick that kind of that undermines the character, but he is a buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. He has a large role playing next to Jeffrey Donovan, Michael, the spy lead in Burn Notice. And, this really introduced Bruce to a new generation of viewers who likely didn't know Bruce before this. There was 111 episodes.
111 episodes.
So, the most Bruce was on screen within one character.
Yeah.
And he played the role well, Sam Axe in this. He even got a movie spin-off. The character was so popular.
Yeah, prequel.
Right?
Right?
Yeah, a little prequel.
He's funny. There's comedy. There's action. He's somewhat charming.
Yeah.
He's the guy you want, when you're back is against the wall. They do pull from, a sort of like snarkiness that just seems to,
Classic
follow Bruce Campbell through, and even in his appearances. It's like when you see him in interviews, it's like he's self-deprecating, but there's an aspect of that just sort of permeates everything he's in. And this is, classic USA sort of like
procedural.
This is like for people, if they like the show, it's like it's a very bingeable show. It's USA, like when they had Monk and they had Psych. This is the same kind of thing where it's like it's exactly what you're gonna get, and if you like it, you're in luck because they just they go with it. You don't expect it to change. You don't need they don't like swerve. It's like they just go and keep doing and people really liked it.
All right, so just a few quick hits. Those were some of the bigger roles Bruce has had.
Classic Bruce Campbell roles. Iconic
ones,
roles for him.
So a quicker one. I think you had one. You want to start off?
Oh, yeah. So he has a very, very, very bit part in the movie Congo. And this is at the height of the Michael Crichton craze when everybody was like, after Jurassic Park, everybody's like, we got to make Michael Crichton movies, which is kind of funny because you think back to well, he did Westworld, but after Jurassic Park, there was almost every single book that he wrote was optioned. And Congo was one. We were waiting in line to see the screening, and my buddy looked at me. He goes, "Man, I can't wait for Bruce Campbell to look at the screen and just scream." And you know what? Wishes were granted that night.
Yeah,
he got it. Right off the bat, that Bruce looks at the camera and screams. Sleep through the first 10 minutes of this movie. Don't go grabbing your popcorn or
if you want to see Bruce.
If you want to see Bruce Campbell, you got 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's a scream.
There you go.
And then you're like, oh.
Yeah.
And then he moved on.
And there we go.
To his next gig.
So another fan favorite, quick one, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness 2022.
Yeah. Here we go. See, Sam, now that's an interesting movie because, originally it wasn't going to be Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
But there was creative differences as comes up because the original director dropped out, creative differences. Didn't sound like a big deal, but he wanted to make more of a straight-on horror movie, and I think Marvel was like, meh. And also remember, you're playing in the Marvel universe, the MCU. Right. You are playing with their toys in their sandbox, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And so Sam Raimi, they're like, hey, Sam Raimi, what do you think? And honestly, it was a great call to get Sam Raimi back into the comic book world after the
Spider-Man movies,
Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 2.5.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, which they just added more stuff, and then Spider-Man 3, which has that's got its own. There's just some things that don't quite work in that. Everybody keeps taking off their masks.
Yeah, well, no.
The whole movie. But
the common thread.
Bruce Campbell. So people were excited. Like, are we gonna get a Bruce Campbell cameo? And there he is.
Yes, and he plays
Pizza Papa.
Pizza balls.
Hey, you didn't pay for that. Pizza Papa always gets paid.
I would eat that.
Yeah, Marvel, let's make some pizza balls.
How they're not selling pizza balls? Like, that should have been like, everybody's getting the popcorn buckets and all this stuff. They had that big Galactus popcorn bucket. I don't know anybody who bought that thing.
No.
$80. But you put some pizza balls up there. I would have grabbed those before the pretzels, and I like the pretzels.
One of the things that Bruce Campbell always wants from cameos, like he always says, he has to mean something to the plot.
Yeah.
In the Sam Raimi cameos,
right?
If I'm going to be in it, I have to mean something. Also, he says he wants to screw with the main character, which he does in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
And Doctor Strange decides he's had enough of him, so he puts a spell on him that makes him continuously punch himself in the face.
Why don't you take some mustard, huh?
Fans of Bruce Campbell recognize a clear line to Evil Dead 2 with the hand battle.
He and his hand at odds again.
Yeah. And Bruce said he wasn't even sure if he was going to make it into the movie. And really, if you watch it, I'm kind of surprised too. It doesn't really have much to do with anything.
It doesn't. I mean, it's absolutely fan service.
Yeah.
So either you know or you don't know.
Yeah. And that is the power of Bruce Campbell.
That is the power of Bruce Campbell.
All right, so there you have it. Cult B-movie icon, the Bruce Campbell.
You know, whether he's leading the charge or stealing a scene in a supporting role, Bruce is always authentically Bruce. That's why we love him, and that's why his fans love him. And it's not just because he's a legend, but because he never pretends to be anything other than, who he is.
That's right, and whether he's fighting demons while punching himself in the face for a laugh, or selling you pizza balls in the multiverse and punching himself in the face for a laugh, Bruce always delivers.
And best of all for his fandom, he's a mainstay at conventions across the country. He keeps that connection with the fans who made him a cult hero in the first place. I mean, what's not to like?
That's right. So, hey, tell us what your favorite Bruce Campbell role is, or the moment that made you a lifelong fan. Drop it in the comments. We want to hear your picks.
And if you like what we're doing here on the B-side and the Hubbubbery, give us a like, lovingly tap that subscribe button, and maybe even summon a few skeleton warriors to help spread the word. Groovy.